What's up guys, this is Siddhant, this is Rahul
and this is Vishal.
So we together are the founders of Warhorse.
A warhorse is the horse which the king takes out to war. It's the most confident, the most powerful steed in the king's stable itself.
Careers as such are taking your skill set and applying it to an opportunity. One thing we thought was the ability to communicate.
We met at the Besanaga beach one day and we thought, alright, so let's try something else out, and that's where we made a career decision itself.
To start a company that's going to help people communicate better.
We realized we found purpose in being able to give this unfair advantage that we had to other people. Then it'll be about your skills and about how hard you work and not just how well you speak.
And we finally realized that we love teaching and we are ultimately at heart teachers.
Warhorse initially started out as a public speaking company. So we've been debating for a considerable amount of time. We've been taking part in impromptu speaking competitions, MUNs, stand-up comedy, theatre. So on some level we had good understanding of how stagecraft works.
How do you overcome fear?
By just doing. It's as simple as that.
It comes down to something that's based in neuroscience, which is about the beliefs that you hold in your mind. So if you believe that you can't do something, you simply cannot. And if you believe you can, then you most certainly can. But the fact is, you can do every single one of those things if you decided to and you started doing it. It's a little high risk because when you go on stage and make a fool of yourself, a lot of people watch, so you're never going to do it again. But the trick is to go back and keep making a fool of yourself till a point where it's so normal that you don't need to make a fool of yourself. Once we actually went and did the workshop for them,
as soon as the three of us walked in, like the people who were sitting in that particular auditorium, they looked at us and they started like, give that expression, is this a joke?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing over
They actually
here?
asked the senior person who organized it whether this was entirely a prank. Because what we realized is when you give value to somebody, whether they're 80 or 10 or 15, it doesn't matter, they're going to listen to you.
So over the last 1.5 years, we were in around 12 schools, both in Chennai and Coimbatore. We also had our own classes happening in our centers outside as well.
Overall, I think we've come close to training about 1,000 students already, and now we're going to begin working with colleges because we think that's also an important segment to work with. So from schools to corporates to college, we're dealing with everybody. We started exposing students to as many subjects as possible. There was a big problem with the way students were experiencing education in class. So the two big things were, A, they did not have a growth mindset. That means they thought that they were born with certain skills and traits and certain abilities and they could never develop them. But science will tell you that there is nothing like stupid. Intelligence is a spectrum. You can get more intelligent by practicing being more intelligent.
By virtue of calling someone smart or intelligent, you're automatically pinpointing the guy who didn't score as much as saying he's not smart or he's dumb. Or he's idiot.
And that's a big problem because as soon as you call somebody dumb, they think that I am dumb. And so obviously I can't do anything more. So they're not going to try anything more.
And by virtue of calling somebody smart, he's going to end up thinking that, oh, I'm smart already. So that means I don't have to improve my current situation. I'm already good at learning. So I'll just keep doing the same thing.
I'm sure that's happened to some of you where somebody's told you, hey, you're really intelligent. You're like, yeah, I'm really intelligent. I don't need to study anymore because I'm really smart. But that's the problem. You're crippling yourself because you're not going to hit your potential anymore because you're not working hard.
The first thing that we noticed is everybody studies the same subject. On some level, you are imposed what you need to learn.
The prescriptive nature of education was a problem to us. The fact that I will tell you what you need to study. That's a problem because you might want to study completely different subjects from what I find interesting.
And that's the difference between having a fixed mindset and a growth mindset.
Only by practicing and having activity-based learning and where students are doing majority of the work and the teachers only facilitating is actual learning achieved. So that's something we try to bring into our classrooms as something called the flipped classroom, where we ensure that everything we're taught or everything we're trying to teach a student is learned by him by experience, where the teacher only 30% tells you what you could be doing, and kids are so smart that they go wild once they're given that freedom.
When I ask you to think about the education system and what a classroom looked like in 1940s, and what I ask you to think about right now, it's essentially the same. The model of one person teaching, many people listening hasn't changed at all. If nothing has happened, if nobody is willing to put their best foot forward and adopt new methodologies in teaching and delivering education, then we're not going to, be in par with the best educational systems in the world. You can't drastically change the educational system in one day. You can still supplement what you're learning in school by consciously thinking about what you want to do in the future. It's about you consciously thinking about what you're good at and doing more of that, and eventually coming to a point where you become the best version of yourself. And we're all products of the educational system. So the fact that we're sitting here and we're having this discussion means that there were a few things that were right with our educational system itself.
Sometimes we had students who were a little out of the ordinary. So we once had an autistic student come to our class and join the public speaking course, and I was a little apprehensive of that situation because we weren't used to dealing with that situation. But what we realized is, apart from that slight social awkwardness, they were very much the same as any other child. As curious, even more perhaps, as enthusiastic, sometimes even more. And that enthusiasm sometimes is a little too much for them to handle themselves. So with the body language classes that we conducted, teaching them how to stand, what positions make you feel more confident, what positions make you feel little underconfident, the kid was understanding things about herself that she wasn't exposed to before. And so that was a great moment for us.
Our vision when we started out Warhorse was to only serve school students and how they can improve their communication so that they become leaders in the future. Delta again is a very well received program. It's a long-term course on public speaking and debate that will continue for as long as possible. And the second thing is, Academy's first batch is going to launch this June. So we're really excited about the Academy to see what kind of responses we get for this radical new educational system. We're not old enough to give you advice or tell you what you need to do with your life, but if there's one thing that we can possibly pick out from our experiences, it's investing in yourself.
So being able to speak is really important. So try to pick up that skill, because if you can speak, you can influence. And if you can influence, you can change lives. To know more about us, check us out at warhorse.in.
Yeah, and subscribe to Radaan's nXgen channel on YouTube.
So huge shout out to them. Subscribe, like and share.